Hi everybody, I'm Catherine from Young Gardens and welcome to our first episode of Cooking with Caliente. What we're going to do is we're going to put out videos to help you make the best of your spices, and today what we're going to do is we're going to make HBG encrusted pork loin with Jalapeachno glaze. So obviously what you're going to need today from your collection of spices is your HBG and a jar of the Jalapeachno jelly. I bought this piece of meat at Costco, and I bought it at Sam's Club too. They have the very large pork loins over there, and they're like $1.97 a pound. I would recommend you go get the large ones. You cut them into, serving sizes or portion sizes, however many's in your house. Or you can make the whole one for a whole bunch of people. But what I like to do is I like to cut them, I season them, I vacuum seal them, and then I freeze them. And what that does is while it's freezing and while it's defrosting, all of your seasonings are penetrating the meat and the flavor is insane. So I'm going to do these quick. My attention span is short. I don't know about yours, but I want to eat, so let's get started. What you're going to do is you're going to take your piece of meat. This is a really pretty piece of pork loin. You have your fat on one side and you have the lean on the other side. You're going to take your HBG and be generous with it because we want all that flavor to get into the meat. So you're going to rub it in. You're going to get the sides. And like I said, be generous because you love the flavor and you want it to get all inside of your dish. So we're going to go ahead and get that taken care of. Flip it over. And we're going to rub the bottom. That sounded funny. Okay. What we're going to do with this is we're going to put this into a preheated oven of 375 degrees. Don't put a pan on there, but what you do need is you're going to want to put like a cookie sheet underneath the middle rack. You're going to place this directly on the rack with the fat side up. But before you do that, you're going to want to get your Jalapeachno. My hands are gross, hold on. Get your Jalapeachno and get a spoon. And you're going to put this generously over your pork loin. Now what you don't want to do though is you don't want to put the Jalapeachno on the bottom of it, because the bottom is going to be sitting directly on the rack in your oven. And if you do that, all it's going to do is drip and you're going to get burned smells in your house. So we don't want to do that. Okay. There you go. It really is that easy. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this, you're going to put it on the middle rack in the oven. You're going to have a cookie sheet underneath it because you will have drippings, and you're going to set it at 375 degrees. You're going to cook it for about an hour depending on how big your meat is. Sometimes the pork loins that you see in the grocery store, they're the small ones. They're like about this big. And those are only going to take about a half an hour. Get your meat thermometer close to an hour. I want you to test the temperature, dead center, and it should be about 140 degrees. If it's 140 degrees, pull it out and set it on a plate. Don't cover it, let it rest. At that time, you should have a nice little crust on the top. You should see the juices coming out. Let it rest. Let it rest for about 10 minutes. Just leave it alone and start to gather the rest of your, food that you're gonna have with your pork loin. So, I'm gonna move that over there. And I did make one so that you can see what it looks like and a serving suggestion. So here we are. We have our pork loin that I cut up into serving size pieces. Have some nice asparagus. We've got some baby red potatoes, and we have a glass of wine. So what I want you guys to do is enjoy this recipe. Also, if you have created something special with your HBG or your Caliente spices, send me an email at caliente@younggardens.net. Tell me what your recipe is. If we use your recipe on one of our episodes, you get special recognition and free spices. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed your first lesson.